Welcome to Jay and Laura TV. We are Jay and Laura LaFoon here to answer your questions about marriage and relationships. And this one today is from a Facebook fan, and it's not funny.
It could be a Facebook fan who's a fly on our wall.
But it's kind of fun. I think our greatest challenge in marriage is pushing each other's buttons. I thought that's what marriage was about, was finding the person you could annoy for the rest of your life, but apparently not. When this happens...
Mission accomplished.
When this happens, I get angry and I hurt my husband, and then he gets angry and he cuts me off. I have a short fuse, so I tend to lash out. But the fuse is short, so then she wants to make up, but her husband has a longer fuse and holds a grudge. Not that I was pointing. We both recognize our tendencies to do this and are working on it, but we've been married for 19 years and it's still an issue. Just thought I'd see if you had any wisdom or tips.
Yeah, it's been going on for 32 years, so good luck with that. Now, the reality is that, you learn very quickly in marriage the buttons that you can push. You know, I cannot compare her to her mom or her sister. And if I do, it's me being intentionally bad, because I know that's buttons that would get pushed. She can't make fat jokes because I've been fat all my life.
And I would never do that.
And she would never do that. But if she did,
I push. If I were to call you Doyce, that's different.
There
that's
you
his
go.
mom.
Right. So we know the buttons. The key is being committed enough to each other to say, even though I could send you over the edge, I'm not gonna, because I love you and I don't want to deal with the incessant.
I do think it's good, though, that you acknowledge that you understand that you do push each other's buttons. You've acknowledged that you have a short fuse and you understand that your husband has a long fuse. And from what I'm hearing in the question is that you both know that. So I have a short fuse. I can just mouth off and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Whereas what I've said has now hurt him. So now he's going to hold the grudge and he can not talk for 24, 48 hours, which is, I could use that for evil, but not to have to listen to him for 24, 48 hours. But we're getting much better about, hey, we need to talk about what just happened. We can't let this go on for days and days and days because then it festers. And so it's good that you acknowledge it. Now what you've got to do is work on some habits in your relationship that maybe you can work on that short fuse and that longer fuse. And one of those that I use for my short fuse is to count to 10 before I say anything.
And that sounds really silly, but it really works for her.
And trying to think through, not just spout off what comes to my mind, because I do have the spiritual gift of sarcasm, but sometimes that sarcasm can hurt. And so I really have to think, is that really something I should say? And that's where that counting to 10 really happens. So what about you, Mr. Grudge Holder? What would you say?
I realize that life is too short to hold a grudge, and it gets way too heavy the longer you hold it. That, forgive and move on, and realize that this is my biggest fan. And if I can't, if I hold a grudge against my biggest fan, then I'm not going to have a very happy life. So there you go.
There you go. Hopefully that helps. This is we are. But we are Jay and Laura, and we are here for your marriage and your relationship. So feel free to send us a question either via Facebook or our website, email. We would love to answer your questions about marriage and relationships.